Unconsistently consistent.
Okay, so hello and welcome to episode 4 of Inconsistently Consistent. I'm Melanie.
I'm Rachel, and today we're joined by a very special guest, one of my good friends from Halifax, Victoria.
Thanks for having me, guys.
And it's also our first ever guest, so she's very special.
She is very special.
I'm feeling very VIP right now. Thank you.
Enthusiastic air horn sounds. Wah, 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 wah. So how has your week been, Melanie? Since we last spoke, it's been so long.
So long. I don't know what I would do if I didn't speak to you every 5 seconds as it is right now.
I know.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, lots has been going on. Avoiding editing my book, so just trying to pick up all these other hobbies that I could do instead of doing that. And watching paint dry, cleaning, all the other things I could be doing.
Well, you said that's on your list for 2022 because it's in the card you sent me.
Yeah, and I tried to make it as like a deadline that by the time my birthday comes, I have to have it finished editing so I can go back and put it to the publisher for like the final round of edits, but I don't know if I'm going to make that deadline because it's a deadline I made. So when I'm my own boss, it's a terrible thing.
Yes. As we know, your boss at work is a horrible person.
Yes, she is. And as Victoria probably doesn't know, my boss is me. So I'm constantly trying to fire myself.
How has your week been, Victoria?
It's been pretty good. It was a nice short week since we had a vacation, family day on Monday. And then I've been looking forward to this, talking all things spooky. It's definitely up my alley. So yeah, just exciting.
That's why we invited Victoria on, because we are going to talk about some ghost stories, aka spooky season. Ooh.
Yeah, even though it's not really a spooky season right now, but I personally believe all the time is spooky time, you know?
Me too.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Every day is spooky season here.
100%.
Victoria's Island in Animal Crossing is permanently Halloween, so it's always spooky season in Animal Crossing.
This is true. All the pumpkins are out all the time.
So I guess I know you've talked, Melanie, that you're a bit of a skeptic.
A bit of a skeptic. I've never seen anything in person spooky. I love horror. I love the genre. I love all things spooky and creepy and weird in general, but I've never had any like personal experience with anything paranormal. Though as soon as I brought all this up to my mother, like about doing this podcast, she was like, "Oh yeah, my maternal grandmother and all that family, all the women have this paranormal sensitivity." And I'm like, I just have the paranormal sensitivity of like a paperweight. So I'm defective.
Yes, and I know I have lots of paranormal. I'm a strong believer. The women on my side of the family, also on my mom's side, are very sensitive. So my grandma, my aunts, my mom, my sister, and my cousins. What about you? Are you a skeptic, Victoria? You believer? You fall somewhere in between?
I mean, I'd say I'm more on the like believing side of like all things having energies, and I definitely believe there's, things you can't really explain any other way. I haven't like seen anything visually myself, but I've kind of had situations come up. Even like when I don't know, I have a story about when I did a tarot reading for someone that was really creepy. It gave me a lot of cold chills. Just stuff that you can't explain any other way, right? So yeah, I think I fall more on the believe side.
Oh, you do tarot?
Yes, I do.
Oh, I wish we were in person.
Oh, you can actually, because we're going to plug Victoria now.
Oh.
She has an Instagram page where she does her tarot. It's at Marina Moonstone.
Yeah.
And she has a website you can go and you can request tarot readings. So she's done like a few
Virtual.
of mine, and she does them virtually, and she'll email you the reading from the tarot card.
Ooh, cool.
So
Yeah.
if you're interested, support my friend in local business and get a tarot card reading done.
Yeah, it's a good time.
I'm undecided on the spooky and the ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I never even knew that Rachel, knowing her for so many years, had seen all these spooky things because she's decided that she needed to keep this quiet from me. Keep this secret in her back pocket. Never thought to tell me all these things. But I had never known that anyone had, like, that I was close to had ever had any of these experiences.
Oh, I have
right?
So many experiences. And I guess so I will start off with just kind of the basic ones that I experience kind of on like a regular-ish basis. So both of my grandfathers have passed away. One passed away 10 years ago from cancer, and the other one passed away 4 years ago from a stroke. That one was very unexpected. And I actually saw my grandpa that passed away from cancer. I saw him the night after I got the news he passed in my res room when we were at MUN.
Oh.
So I woke up in the middle of the night and I looked at my door and there was a man wearing like a white robe there. And he didn't say anything. He just looked at me and he smiled, and then I blinked and he was gone.
Oh, wow. And like, what does that look like? Does it look like a regular person?
I see like full body apparitions. So I know a lot of people will see like orbs and maybe partial, but for me, every spirit that I've seen, it's a full body apparition. Except for one experience where I didn't see anything, but like the rest of them, I've seen them full body. And I always see them how they looked prior to them getting sick, because that's how they want to be remembered. That's my theory about when they show themselves to us, is they want us to remember them when they were like healthy and better and not in the sickly state.
Okay. But like, if you saw a ghost person and you saw like a regular person, could you tell one is a ghost and one is not? Like,
yes.
But like, how?
The ghost person is transparent.
Okay.
That's a giveaway.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be at least that.
Yeah.
So, okay, because like I'm going off of like Melanie only has horror movie knowledge. So
no, the ones I see, they're transparent. It's full body apparitions, but you can see through them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how. You're gonna blow my mind today, Rachel.
That's what I'm here for. And like so like I've seen both of my grandpas, and I also saw my ex-boyfriend's deceased grandparents, who I've never met. I remember one day when I lived with my grandma, I got up in the middle of the night and I looked down the hallway and I saw my grandpa, and I saw another person standing next to him, and it was like 3 a.m. and my brain, it looked like my boyfriend at the time, and I was like, why is my boyfriend here? And then I was like, oh, that's his grandpa, because it was him as a young man and they look almost identical to each other.
So creepy.
So I guess you're glad that, you could tell the difference then.
Yes.
Otherwise, that would have been a really strange occurrence.
That would have been a very
awkward,
interesting conversation to have with my boyfriend at the time, to be like, so, how did you get over to my grandma's house? And I think this was before he showed me. So I see them kind of in the same outfits every time. So like with my ex's grandpa, he was wearing a suit. And I've seen his grandma, who he never met because she passed before he was born. And I obviously never met because she passed before I even knew who my ex was. And I seen both of them one day, and she was wearing like I can't even remember, like some type of dress. And we stayed at his uncle's place in Fredericton, and I went in to use their ensuite to shower, and his uncle had a picture of them on his nightstand, and she was wearing the dress that I had seen. And I'd never seen that picture before in my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little creepy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm kind of used to it at this point.
Yeah, I guess it's like just another day.
Yeah.
So like this, you know how you watch some of these shows, like the ghost, like people that go ghost hunting, or like the mediums and stuff, and they say like
Yeah.
that they experience sometimes like different like cold spots, or like
Mhm.
they get like a tingle or something. Anything like that happen when you like like see that or feel someone around?
I always feel like there's somebody watching me, which is, I know I live alone, so that's not a good time for me.
Yeah,
That's the biggest
creepy
thing.
feeling.
I always feel that when I know that they're like, I always feel like there's somebody watching me. And another experience is I was at the Naval Museum up at Statacona here, and I was with my ex again, and we were walking
He
around.
seems to have brought around a lot of dead people.
Yeah, he does. Maybe he's dead. Dun, dun, dun.
Plot twist.
Conspiracy theory. But yeah, so we were walking around the second floor, and my friend who works there as a curator, Jen, you've met her, Victoria.
Yes.
She'd mentioned that people have seen spirits and all this kind of stuff. So like as we were walking around, I kept stopping and like looking at the stairs, and my ex was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "There's something there." He's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "There's something standing like on the landing between the two floors." And I can't find this picture, and obviously me and my ex are not on speaking terms, so I can't ask him. But I got him to take a picture of the landing, and when we looked at it after, there's a mirror that you could see in the picture, and in the reflection of the mirror, there was a woman in a white dress.
Oh.
And she was not standing on the landing.
Oh. So like she was only in the mirror, but not on the landing part.
Yeah, she was only in the mirror.
Yeah, mirrors are interesting. Apparently they hold a lot of energies. Like you can cleanse mirrors that are used and stuff like that. Like even when I moved into my house, all my mirrors, I was like, I'm just gonna sage to cleanse the air. Like I don't know, how old this mirror is, and they claim it's like however many people have looked into that mirror. Like yeah, you can go down a rabbit hole on that.
Yeah, I don't know if any of you guys have ever watched like Ghost Adventures or anything, but I know Zach Baggins, or as one of the podcasts I listen to refer to him as Bagel Bites.
Oh, okay.
He has a haunted mirror in his museum. It's the Bela Lugosi mirror.
Oh
yes, I've gone on a Ghost Adventures binge.
Yes.
That's creepy.
And I think he had somebody look into the mirror, and they ended up passing out from looking into it because of whatever the energy is in the mirror.
That's crazy.
Yeah. There's been a lot of stuff. I got into a big like paranormal like hyper focus because like Victoria, you don't know this, but I have ADHD, and I like to hyper focus on things.
Yeah.
Things that are not probably productive in any way. So lots of things. One of these things was paranormal and ghosty stuff for a while.
Yeah.
And went into a big phase of Ghost Adventures and all the spooky stuff, and just zeroed in on all that. Mm-hmm. And the museum stuff, Zach Baggins Museum, was one of the things that I was like super focused on. And that mirror has a whole lot of shit attached to it. There was a lot of stuff on that, with like people passing out, people seeing things in the mirror, people having like panic attacks while staring into the mirror and stuff.
That's wild.
Yeah. He's got a lot of stuff in the museum, and there's certain things that you can't even say the name of, and things are supposed to happen to you. So he has one that's like PTG. If people know what that is, don't actually write the name out, but apparently if you even just say this doll's name, stuff happens, and if you hold her and everything, it's like part of me just kind of want to go to Vegas. I want to go to the
want to
go to the museum and
Love
see
that.
all the spooky things.
Yeah. Yep. I think
that's kind of like what I'd kind of want to go into that museum, and then I'm like, no, I'd probably get there, stand on the edge, and then be like, nope, can't walk in.
Like, yeah, you'd probably feel cold, like chills as soon as you like walk by it.
Mhm.
And yeah, when I had my like experience with the tarot reading, I also had cold chills, which I don't always get those. So it was very different for me. I think just to be open minded that like even though I can't like I don't see things like that, but sometimes if I do readings, like certain things pop up that you can't explain any other way. It's so weird. Because obviously, I don't know anything about these people, so it's just so weird that just such specific things come through. Like this is a very kind of emotional kind of thing, so I'm not gonna like share the whole story. But my client's okay with me sharing, a part of it. I already asked them. But yeah, I was just doing a reading, and it was just a general reading, and some weird things came through because she wanted to know like kind of what her guides had to say to her and everything. And I always tell people I really can't control what comes through. Like I'm not a medium, so it's kind of whatever energies pop up within the cards. So one of them, within the reading, it was like I could just see this like huge fire, and it was so weird because as soon as I saw the fire and then the card, it was like my body was like cold chills. So I felt cold even though I was like envisioning this fire. It was weird. So I mentioned that to her. I'm like, I don't know what this means. Like literally, I didn't even know what it meant. I just was talking about what I saw. And same with a specific black cat. So those are the two like main things out of the long story. But then she was telling me, I guess one of her guides is her grandmother, and her grandmother did pass away in a fire. And
I just got chills.
I know, I can't even. But like the cat got out, and then eventually the neighbor found it, and so like they kept the cat in the family, and it was this black cat that her grandmother loved. And I couldn't. Yeah, I was very shook by that. But more things. But anyway, that's like the main majority of it. But I got so many cold chills, and it was crazy to me. Like I don't know anything. I don't know that information. It just came up, and it was very bizarre.
Yeah, I got chills when you said that. It turned out her grandma died in the fire.
It was horrible. Yeah, that was a very. I needed a big break. I didn't do any readings like for the rest of the week after that one.
I wouldn't either.
Yep.
I'm still defective over here. Yep. Still a dud.
I know you mentioned last episode we recorded that you found something about a haunted broccoli.
What?
I did find haunted broccoli.
What? It haunts you until you're healthy? Like
maybe.
What?
No. What I was going to do before I talked to my mother was basically going to find little stupid stories on the internet of ridiculous spooky things. Right? So one of them I found a tweet of someone basically with haunted broccoli.
Oh.
So someone with the Twitter screen name of @boobs_69_420.
That's legit.
Yes. So you know exactly why this is going to be like this.
Yes.
Said, I was putting the shopping away for my ma'am. So I don't know where they're from, but probably sounds British to me.
Yeah.
So putting the shopping away for my ma'am when there was this really clear giggle from behind me. There was no one there, no devices making noise, and no other people. The only things were me and the head of broccoli in my hand. Haunted broccoli, I guess. We ate it.
What?
So if he ate the haunted broccoli, did he himself become possessed?
Yeah.
The story does go on that they are fine.
Okay.
So I don't think it was contagious.
Okay, because if it wasn't, I was picturing like if you didn't use the stock, you put it in your green bin, and then you had haunted compost that would then make a haunted garden. Like, is this how it transitions?
And it's just haunted yard.
Yeah. And that's how VeggieTales became a show.
Oh my gosh.
It all connects and makes so much sense.
We're dating ourselves now by talking about VeggieTales.
Oh my gosh.
Man. Oh yeah. I know you mentioned your mom's got some.
Yeah. But it's kind of similar to your story with your grandfather, actually, because she had this Aunt Nellie who she had, like, when she was in university, actually, she had, and most of her stories she told me were all from her university days, and most of those stories she tells me from her university days end with her hanging out of her window after a night of drinking. Oh. Yeah, when she wakes up. Yeah.
Who hasn't had a night of drinking where you end up hanging out of a window?
Yeah.
Fair.
So these are the stories that don't end that way, but end with her seeing ghosts. So apparently there's only 2 options with her stories.
Yes.
So this one, she said that she wasn't sure if she was awake or not, so she's not sure if it's like a dream or she was like half asleep.
Mm-hmm.
But she remembers that it was like in her 2nd or 3rd year of university, and she went to MUN in Newfoundland, and she just remembers that her Aunt Nellie was standing at the bottom of her bed and like was putting her hand on her foot and saying that she was her favorite. She was always her favorite. And it was just like trying to soothe her. And like Mom was kind of freaked out because she could tell like it wasn't her like actually there.
Yeah.
So she knew she wasn't really there. But anyway, and then whatever, she ended up going back to sleep or however it was. The next morning she got a call from her mom saying that her Aunt Nellie had passed away overnight. And that's what it had been. And she was like, oh, I know. Because that was her coming to say goodbye. So that was that little one.
Those are, I think, from the stories I've read, those ones are fairly common where people will see like a loved one the night that they pass.
Yeah.
And it's because they want to come and like say a final goodbye to them, you know? I didn't have that with mine because I knew with my grandpa who had cancer, we knew eventually he was going to pass. And he had kind of come to peace with it because my mom flew up. It's my mom's dad, and like she flew up and all of his kids were there. So like it's like those moments where like you have all your family around you and you're like, okay, now I can go.
Yeah.
Whereas like my other grandpa, he had a stroke unexpectedly. Like, so it's not like we knew that he was even close to being as bad as he was, you know?
Yeah.
My mom also has all these like really like vivid dreams, and she's always like convinced they're like prophetic. Right? And not like really like on a grand scale, like all of a sudden like, oh, it's going to be the end of time, because that would be ridiculous.
Did your mom predict World War III?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure a lot of people did.
Yes.
But no, but she'll just be like kind of having that kind of like really strange dreams and be like, oh no, I'm really worried about your Aunt Mary, your great Aunt Mary. And then like a few weeks later, my great Aunt Mary passed away. Right? Or like took a really downturn in her health and stuff like that, right? So she's kind of had those like kind of like intuition type things with her dreams.
Those are interesting.
Yeah.
I know MUN in general has a lot of ghost stories surrounding, especially like the old residences in Peyton College. Like, some of them are like pretty dark too. Like there's stories of a girl who found out she was pregnant and she hung herself in the bathroom.
That was like at Acadia. That someone did that at Acadia too at Seminary Hall. It's like on haunted maritime stories, I believe. But yeah, similar. Probably just because they're such old universities too, and yeah.
Well, Acadia is probably older than MUN because MUN was only formed 1949 when Newfoundland joined Canada.
Okay.
Yeah. So
lots of history either way though.
Definitely. Yeah. And even there's stories of people like hanging themselves in the munnels. That's one I never understood. Is the munnels aren't very tall.
Yeah, well, you don't need a lot of space.
No, you
technically to hang yourself.
Yeah.
This is where my creepy knowledge comes in.
Oh, also, your creepy knowledge, and you said you also love horror movies, so you might also know some of these creepy stories about like hauntings of ghosts on scary movie sets. Those really intrigue me. You probably know a lot of those stories as well. I love looking up stuff like that. Like it's so interesting to me. Even like older horror movies and then newer ones, there's always really like creepy things that happen on set.
Yeah. There's always those really, really creepy stuff on that stuff. And there's a lot of stuff like actors who come back with like really creepy stories and that were like traumatized
Yeah.
from stuff.
Yep.
Isn't there one? I can't remember which movie it was. You probably know,
Which one was
Victoria.
it?
A bunch of the actors ended up dying from filming it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of like cursed films like that. I'm also thinking about well, you know, The Exorcist might be one of them because even like the main girl when she's in the bed when they're performing the exorcism, like she actually in real life while filming that like fractures her vertebrae during the scene. They kept rolling and they kept filming.
Yeah.
Like that was
I
wild.
remember that I remember that was an injury there.
Yeah, and then same with the poltergeist. This one's kind of interesting. They back then it was cheaper. They couldn't afford to do fake skeletons. Don't ask me why. But they decided they didn't tell the actors, and they used real human remains in that pool scene.
Mhm.
Those skeletons bobbing are real humans, and so there's a lot of talk around, you know, spirits that didn't give consent or permission to like do that, and apparently like some weird stuff happened in the filming and whatnot. And yeah, a lot of those movies are like quote unquote like cursed, like lots of deaths surrounding it, and just really weird things you can't really explain.
Yeah, I know that kind of in the same realm that if you disturb a resting ground, burial ground, which is a lot of the things that like on Ghost Adventures are like, this used to be an old indigenous burial ground, and then they like dug it up. I'm like, why would you do that? Like there's a whole thing on TikTok of like this was a while ago where it came up like people discovered a 3,000-year-old Egyptian slab, and everybody they duetted the video and they were like, put it back now.
Well, even
I had to look this up because it was bothering me because I was like, there's something about The Exorcist.
There's a lot
when you mentioned it. Yeah, and I was like, there's something about The Exorcist that I can't remember that was driving me nuts. There was a fire on the set of The Exorcist.
Oh, I heard about that.
But it didn't touch the bedroom, right? That the exorcism took place in or something. That's what I thought I heard.
Yeah, they had to rebuild a whole large section of the set, but it mysteriously left the Reagan's bedroom set.
Yes.
That set alone.
That's so
for some reason. And it was theorized that a bird flew into the set, into the electrical equipment, and that's how the fire had started.
Oh.
That was like the leading theory of how that happened, but that was,
That's crazy.
That's what was bugging me.
That's weird.
That is crazy. And and speaking of the Egyptian, that stuff was really creepy. Like, I know, like here in Halifax, before the pandemic, the Natural Museum of History had an exhibit where they had, like the real mummies and stuff to look at, and that was so interesting. But at the same time, I just felt it was just kind of a weird energy feeling, like looking at these people.
You felt that too?
I felt it was like I saw it from an educational stance, but then part of me was like, but this was a human, and it just felt weird. Like it also had energy presence. I don't know, it was weird.
To me, it felt like I don't know if they were okay with being on display, you know?
Yeah, and then I guess too, they always talk about like they're really big into eternal life. So I'm like, well, maybe this is that way of them like kind of getting that in a sense. But it was weird. Especially the like children. The children mummies, that was sad.
Oh my gosh, they were so tiny too. Really? They had like the children's size sarcophagus there, Melanie, and it was just that was so creepy to see. Yeah. Speaking of children, this kind of segues into my more recent and one that scarred me that I did not go back to Peggy's Cove.
Oh, creepy children.
So this one, again, with my ex.
Oh my, common factor.
Is this dude, the ex-dude I call him?
This is the one that I yelled F you in our last recording session.
Yes, I call him dude.
I have to bleep out his name because I said his name.
Yes, it's dude though, right?
Yes, it's dude.
I call him dude because it's close enough.
It is close enough, yeah.
And he's stupid enough.
Yes. But anyway, so one night, for some reason, he suggested that we should drive to Peggy's Cove at night. And I was like, okay, sure. So have you ever been to Peggy's Cove, Melanie? I don't know if you have.
I have no idea where anything is in Newfoundland, even though I've
This is
been
not
here all the
Newfoundland,
time.
this is Nova Scotia.
Well, see? I don't even know where I am.
You're thinking of Cape Spear, probably.
I don't know where anything is.
Anyway, so Peggy's Cove, it's like the lighthouse touristy area. We drove out there and it was really foggy this one night. And we were driving on the road and like it was foggy, really feeling eerie. And we get up to the parking lot by the restaurant that's there. And there's one other car in the parking lot. And me being the mature adult that I am, I was like, oh, they're definitely like getting it on over there. Because it was just one car. And I was like, you know. So we get out, and of course, dude is like, oh, yeah, let's get out. Let's walk up to the lighthouse. And we were like, sure, okay. We walk up to the lighthouse, and as I round the corner of the lighthouse, I get hit with a wave of sadness and sorrow. And there's just like a bunch of kids feeling sad and lost. I'm getting goosebumps just retelling this. And I felt like I couldn't breathe. And I looked at dude and I was like, we need to go back to the car right now. And he was like, why? I couldn't even speak. I was that overwhelmed. I got back to the car. I broke down and I sobbed in the car. And he was like, what is wrong? And I told him what happened. And we, you know, there's been like the Swiss Air flight crashed right outside Peggy's Cove.
Yeah.
There were some kids on the flight. There wasn't enough. But there's also been like shipwrecks and stuff.
Tons of stuff.
And it felt like they were lost. They were looking for their mom. And like, I literally did not go back to Peggy's Cove for 2 years.
Yeah. That's fair.
I stayed away.
That would be a lot.
It was a lot. I was drained for a few days after that.
Yeah. That would freak me out.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to sleep tonight, Melanie?
I don't know. Creepy children.
Yeah.
They get me.
For me.
Creepy children, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, children can also, speaking of creepy children, I think it's so interesting to me when, I don't know, people tell me like their kids, you know, they think they have an imaginary friend, but it's like so creepy, like certain things that the imaginary friend tells them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, it's like really creepy to me, children that have, you know, and some people, you know, believers say that children can see spirits very clearly because they're so innocent and they, you know, communicate very well with spirits. So it's very interesting.
Yeah,
you know, my mom had a imaginary friend when she was a kid. Now, and she used to call him the little boy from St. John's all the time and blame him on why she was getting in trouble all the time. And now that she's telling me she saw ghosts, I'm starting to wonder.
Yeah. I know my cousin has seen stuff when she was little in my grandma's house. So like me and my grandma talk about this stuff all the time. And my grandma has 2 spirits that constantly follow her. One's a man and one's a woman. And when my cousin was over one day, she was looking into my grandma's room and was like, I don't want to go in there. Because she said, oh, go in my room and get something. And my cousin goes, I don't want to go in there. And my grandma asked her why. And she's like, because there's a man in there and he's scary.
No. I would be like, well, time to move.
Time to burn the house down.
Start over.
Yeah, but yeah, so she's seen that one. I think my second cousin saw the same man and said, like, wouldn't go in the room either because they said the man was scary.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
And like all the spirits I've encountered, they haven't been malicious yet.
Yeah. Yeah, knock on that wood.
You know, so like I've been fairly lucky to not have any like them try to hurt me. I have not come across demonic ones yet.
Yeah.
Again.
I mean, that's even, you know, doing tarot readings and stuff, some people have, you know, kind of false expectations of tarot readings sometimes because of the media and such. So sometimes people reach out and they just want to like talk to a specific person, and I'm gonna have to explain, I'm not a medium, I can't do that. And also I don't like to open that sphere up because who knows what's really coming in to talk, like who's to really know, because I can't see them. I don't know if that's something that's malicious. Like I can't see the spirit on command, so I can't do that for them. But like I said, some readings, you know, things pop up that it's pretty clear that it's one of their guides and someone they are looking to connect with, but only they know that. Like from what I tell them, I don't know that. So it's like a whole other, you know, a whole other thing you're opening up to if you like I don't know. I'm not as, familiar with that. So
And
protection.
You have to be careful because a lot of like the malicious and the demons, basically, they'll masquerade themselves as like kids or other
like
types that to try and get you to let them in.
Yeah, I don't. That's my boundary I'm setting.
Setting the boundary.
I'm not doing that. No fly zone.
Because I think that's like something that I know Bagel Bites has touched on is they like masquerade themselves, and even that's the issue with like Ouija boards.
Oh yeah,
because you don't know what's lurking and waiting for somebody to open that.
I literally have one in my basement right now. If you want, if you wanted to look at it, but probably not.
Maybe we should play that.
And it gets to me though. Like Ouija boards are like made by it's a toy company.
Hasbro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I didn't know that there's a way you're supposed to close out a Ouija board. I learned this.
Yeah, you have to say goodbye.
You have to say goodbye and like.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, okay, I'm done with the board. You have to actually say goodbye so it like shuts off the portal that's open.
I even closed off tarot reading just as a sense of whatever energy had connected coming through, because I don't really, like I said, I don't have control over who's coming through with that. I have to shut it off too because I don't know, and I just I close out every reading to the person I'm reading for and to myself. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would like to be able to close it out, but alas, I cannot.
I haven't ran into issues so far, thankfully, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. And actually, speaking of Ouija boards, my babysitter growing up as a kid, she's like a family friend, and she used to have a cottage, and she told me about this story where they went to their cottage and they found a homemade Ouija board left there. And it was really crazy. And they burned it. Yeah, they tried to burn it in the fire, and like it wouldn't really like disintegrate fully. And like it's always that story is always like stuck with me my whole life. So I don't know.
I just got chills from that. It wouldn't
creepy.
burn.
Not fully, no. Like the planchette and all that stuff, it would like kind of, but then it wouldn't like. She's like, "What's it made of? Why isn't it burning?" I'll never forget that story.
It's made of dark magic. That's why
she always told me, she's like, "So don't mess with them." She's like, especially homemade ones. She's like, Hasbro safe.
Yeah, Hasbro makes like Buzz Lightyear toys. We're fine.
Yeah. Except for possessed toys. My Furby was possessed.
Oh, yes. Toys. Toys freak me out too.
Person on Halifax Buy and Sell that's been selling those haunted dolls.
Yeah, she's selling them. Like
there's somebody here in Halifax who's selling haunted dolls.
Like they look really creepy. They could be on a movie set, but why are you paying for possession?
Yeah.
Like what?
Haunted dolls are creepy.
She'll write descriptions like this one has really nice energy and it loves to sing and stuff. I'm like, that's a hard no for me.
It was like this one must be kept in a corner at all times. It's like what?
And I'm like, that's a hard no for me. I'm sorry.
I swear though, my Furby growing up there's something going on. Like we took the batteries out and it would be above me on a shelf and its eyes would open and then look down at me. And it got to the point where like it affected my sleeping a bit. So my mom was like, "Oh, like we'll just take out the battery, make sure the batteries are out." I'm like, "They're already out." And then she was like, "We'll put it in the attic or maybe donate it to someone." And she's like, "Maybe we'll keep it safe. We'll just leave it in the attic." And it's been there ever since.
You need to burn that.
It's still there. I still have it in my parents' attic.
You need to burn it.
I don't think that will take care of it at this point.
Indestructible.
Yes.
Yeah, you must give that Furby to someone else.
Yes.
Pass it on.
Pass on. Maybe close the energy with the Furby.
Oh, I don't know. It was very traumatic as a kid because that thing would just turn on all the time.
Yeah, and the Furbies, when they would the motor would start to go in them.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So demonic.
Yeah.
They were creepy.
They were like,
and the tongue would move. Like that was creepy.
Yeah, no. I remember having a Furby and it was the creepiest thing, especially if you get up at night as a kid to use the bathroom and it's just there and it moves and it suddenly turns on.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new Furbies?
There's new Furbies?
Yes, they've updated them because the 90s, all that stuff is coming back.
Oh my gosh.
No. I've seen them online and the new ones, they mimic you. So, whatever you say, they mimic what you say.
Stop.
Oh my gosh.
And in your tone.
No.
So, Rachel, you watch some of Smosh videos, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen some of the Smosh Games stuff with Sage?
Not recently, no.
Okay, because she has a really high-pitched squeak of a laugh. Mm-hmm. And on one of their streams, they had the Furby. and she squeaks when she laughs, and it squeaked back at her.
No.
And it was just squeaking back and forth, and they kept getting higher pitched and higher pitched, and it was like really creepy sounding.
Okay, I don't like that, but I typed in Furby new, and the things that are coming up are really disturbing, including a Furby with Barbie legs.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
It's uncomfortable. I don't recommend looking this up.
Did you watch any of I think it was either Jeffree Star or Shane Dawson, and somebody sent Jeffree Star a Furby version of himself?
Oh. I think I might have.
I don't watch like any of those.
It sounds familiar.
This was like a few years ago before.
Like, yeah, done in the style.
Yeah, but they sent it, and it was a Furby version of Jeffree Star, and it was so creepy.
Oh, that's so creepy.
Oh, I hate
the new ones look a little cuter, I will say. Like, the ears look a little more trusting, but maybe that's where they want to get you, right? Like, let's make them cuter for more possession.
Yes.
More possession.
That's marketing strategy.
That's their new slogan.
But can you imagine, though, say you get one of those Furby and say your house is haunted, and the Furby picks up something like a spirit says,
and talks through it. Mimics it? No.
And mimics the spirit?
No.
And you just hear something like, "Get out of my house" from the Furby.
Absolutely not. Throw it away.
Burn it with fire.
The Furby's like, "This is my house now. You will sleep on the floor."
I would be like, "Okay, this is your house. I'm moving. I'm leaving. Bye."
The rent is due on the 1st.
The rent's due on the 1st.
Well, it's kind of weird too, because when I looked, like, the hosing market's horrible. Everyone knows that. When I looked for houses, one house I went to go see, completely empty except in the basement by like the hot water tank. There was this little figurine of a little devil sitting there. Like, I can't make this up. I was like, maybe the person just put it there because, maybe the other person that wanted the house put it there to make so no one else bid on the house. But there's a lot of things, but it was creepy to me. I was like, I don't want the devil house. Like, it was just sitting down in the hall. Like, does it come with a house? I don't want it.
I don't want the devil house.
Yeah.
The devil house. Well, I guess maybe that's like the sister of the demon house that Zach Bagans explored.
Oh. It was like a little cartoon devil, but it looked really malicious. Like, the eyes were really, I didn't like it. And the host was nothing in it except for this little devil. That's weird. I don't like that.
No. That just gives me a whole lot of nope.
No, I didn't like
vibes.
That. No.
Did it come with a discount?
Not in this market.
No, Halifax market, they would probably charge
$100K above ask.
Yes. For the probably
$666K above
ask.
I'll tell you one of my mom's stories again. Some less creepy shit. I've got one last one from her, but it's super creepy. I'm saving it. Okay, so I asked Rachel, because she did live in Squire's house at Munn for 1 year. It was only 1 year you lived there, right?
A semester. I lived there.
Oh, it was one semester. Yeah.
Because I got fired from my RA job.
My mom was an RA in Squire's 1 year. Or 2 years? No. I think like 3 years, actually. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so she was an RA at the time. So and it used to be an all-girls house, so she used to have to walk through and do bed checks to make sure all the guys were out.
Oh, scandalous.
Yeah. So she was walking through like after a party one night. So it was probably like 3 a.m. And she's walking on the 3rd floor. And apparently, and she didn't know it at the time, but apparently this woman has been seen, like this ghost has been seen there before and since on this 3rd floor. But she was walking through and she sees this elderly woman in like this old-fashioned white nightgown with a nightcap. Yeah, and she's just like at the end of the hallway and waves to her. And then when mom looks away to be like, what the frig is this old lady doing here? And looks back and she's just gone. And she just thought, well, I'm kind of loaded too. I was having a good time at the party. But then the next morning she mentioned it, and one of the girls said, no, that's whatever's name's grandmother who passed away. And so she had seen, right? And it was like one of the girls, like a couple years before, her grandmother had died, and she'd been seen, the grandmother had been seen on that floor a few times.
Oh.
And apparently has been seen since.
That's creepy.
Yeah, I don't think I ever saw that when I was there for my semester before I got fired because another girl hated me that she got me fired.
No.
But I remember we watched, it was Halloween, and we watched, I think it was Insidious we watched.
Oh, good choice.
Good choice. But, like, we watched it at night with the lights off. And
As one must.
as one does. But after we finished watching it, she had to go do rounds because she was on duty. Ironically, it was with the girl that got me fired. But anyways. And she was like, we need to go do rounds. And I was like, I'll walk with you on my way to my room. Just for, like, extra protection, you know? I know. Do you remember the Spot That Mun page, Melanie?
Yeah.
Did you ever see the picture that somebody posted of the Munnels between, I think it was between the Science Building and the Arts Building? And there was an apparition of a soldier in World War I get up.
Jeez.
No.
No, you never saw that?
Maybe.
Wow.
But I remember it. You could see, like, I think it was his bottom half clear as day. You could see, like, the riding boots and, like, the little puffy pants things that they wore and everything.
I don't remember that.
I remember seeing that because all the comments were like, is this fake? This is definitely fake. You photoshopped this. And I was like, okay, Bobby, sure, they photoshopped it.
I do remember something of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and everybody was talking about it.
Yeah. I can't remember when that was. That was like maybe 2013, 2014, maybe.
Yeah.
I think when Spot That Mun was big.
We had that at Acadia as well,
Yeah.
but we didn't have any ghost spotting. We just had murderous crows.
we had sex crazed ducks.
Okay, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. We had the sex crazed ducks, and then we had some like ones where they were like, oh, to the girl that I saw over at this place at the bar who was wearing the red shirt.
Yeah.
Please give me your number.
Yeah.
You look so fine, to the guy who has the tattoos and
I wish I got your number. Please contact me.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they'd leave their number, which I'm like, wow, you're probably gonna get like a million like crazy texts. Like,
yeah. I guess back in the day it was a simpler time.
It was a simpler time.
Emphasis on the simp.
Yeah. They were all simping. Yeah, that was like a big thing. People would post and be like, to the girl or guy in my science class at 8 a.m. who came in late.
I appeared on that at one point, and it was a creepy one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. It was... I didn't even pay attention to it all. Mm-hmm. And Lexi saw it. My friend Lexi saw it there, and she was like, you appeared on this. And I was like, what the fuck? And it was like, because I was just like, I hated living in res. Mm-hmm. Fucking hated it.
As we all did.
Yeah. Did not realize that I had PTSD issues at the time. Mm-hmm. So me being around a whole bunch of drunk people was a problem. Found that out later. Thank you, therapy. And then, so I was like, did not like the res life at all. Mm-hmm. So I just like stuck to myself and my own friends and just said fuck all of this to everybody else, and did not like hang out with any of the like participate in any of the res shit. So I mostly just hung out with Rachel and sat at Rachel's table. Yeah, it was not in my house at all.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was just kind of like to the person that was like the ghost frosh and all of this, blah, 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 blah. And it was like with the blue eyes and up in there and please look up and talk to me. And I was like, oh, what the fuck?
Well, that's like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like, leave me alone.
Weird.
Yeah. I was like, who are you? Where are you? Where are you located? Why are you here? Are you in the bushes? Dear God, where are you?
Are you hanging from a window?
Are you around every corner? What the fuck? Where do I go? Where do I hide? Do I need to bring pepper spray?
The answer is yes.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah. I don't really have any more ghost stories. I know you mentioned you have one last one from your mom that's creepy.
Yes, if we want to stay on the creepy train.
Sure.
Always.
It is on the creepy train in res.
Okay. Toot toot. My favorite creepy train.
Yeah. So we're going. My mom is an old woman. She'll hate that. I said that. She'll probably never hear this anyway. She
No,
doesn't know how
I
to
was
listen
saying,
to a
your mom probably
podcast.
doesn't know what Spotify is or podcast, so we're fine.
No, she doesn't. She's old. So it was November 4th, 1974.
Oh.
Yes, very old times.
Mhm.
So I'm just going to tell it all to you. So she woke up very early morning. She was barely awake and it was barely light out. And she was in her res room by herself.
Mhm.
She had like a single room. And she heard something scratching at her window.
Oh.
And yeah, and she turns over in bed, looks out, and sees like a scantily clad, bloody, like 20-something-year-old girl crawling along the window ledge.
Oh.
Oh.
And she's like on the 4th floor.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And she lived in Squires,
Mhm.
which, and all the res in Mun are like the same type of thing. There's not any ledge for a human person to crawl along or to have scaled the building. Like, there's no friggin' way anyone could have done that. So she just sees this like torso of a person
Ugh.
pulling themselves along and just blood and like smeared against the glass.
Oh.
And she is just like petrified and does not know what the fuck to do. So she just doesn't do anything, just pulls the covers over her head and doesn't move and waits till the noises go away.
Oh.
Well, as we all know, if you're under the covers, the demons can't get you.
It's a safe zone.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you pull the covers over your head, you are safe.
Yes, they can't get
So she said she didn't know how long it took because she didn't look at the clock or anything about what time it was, but it wasn't like the sun hadn't come up completely at the time, and she didn't get up until her alarm went off. Like, she didn't come out from under the covers to
that's
look.
creepy. Yeah, those
Jeez.
buildings have no ledge that you can crawl on because they're old.
Ugh.
They're like a
No.
brick building.
Ugh.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like a flat brick building, and the only lip of the window would have been like 2 inches wide and like
Mhm.
maybe 2 feet wide. So yes, you could have sat on it, but there's no way you could have crawled across it to like
Was she
go.
like crawling across?
Like, she could have saw like probably say hips to boobs area.
Oh.
And that's it. So like she was like horizontal across,
Oh.
pulling herself across kind of thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Would not want to sleep there again.
I
No. And yeah, so anyway, all that happened. When the alarm went off, she finally, like, it's been who knows how long since.
Mhm.
Like, her alarm went off like 7 a.m. ish to get up for class.
Mhm.
She's like, finally comes out from under the covers. No evidence on her window of anything happened.
Oh.
Right?
That's the worst.
Right? So she's like, okay, it must have been a dream, whatever, all gone, but she can't shake that like freaked out feeling.
Yeah.
Right? Like, later that morning, she gets a call from her mom, and who's my grandmother, who's the person who's also has all these weird inclinations of things on that side of the family. And my grandmother told her that she had this dream, and she was asking her, did something happen on campus last night? Because she had this dream about and I wrote it down on my phone here, I'm trying to say. She said she had a dream about women and blood and screaming, and it was like she couldn't tell what was happening, but it was like scared her, and she thought something happened to a girl on campus or a bunch of girls on campus, and she thought something happened to my mom.
Oh.
And so she was happy that my mom was okay, and mom said no, nothing happened, but she didn't mention the window thing because she was too freaked out to say anything, and she didn't want to freak out my nan. So later that day, they announced on campus that a 22-year-old woman named Regina Petal in the Burton's Pond Apartments, which only opened like a couple months before, had been stabbed to death by her ex-boyfriend
Oh,
I just got chills.
that night.
that's insane.
Yeah, overnight.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
And my mom was like freaked the fuck out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would
Mhm.
do that too. I would be like, okay, I'm moving out of res ASAP.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right? And she told me that, and like that actually gave me chills, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh my
your
God.
mom has seen a lot of stuff. Holy.
Man, me and your mom should like next time I'm home, we should have tea and like go over.
Go-
or
yeah.
I mean, we should go ghost hunting, and I'm just
Listen.
like gonna point my mom at things and go, "What do you
Yeah.
see?
Hey,
What
I
do you
wanna
see?"
go ghost hunting really bad, and like no one. I mean, I know you'll go with me,
Yeah.
but nobody else wants to go with us when we go ghost hunting because they're all scared. Yeah,
Scaredy
Well,
cat.
I mean, I'm a really big scaredy cat, but apparently I'm just a defective dud in terms of sensing anything. So I think I might be just immune. I think I'm a good test subject.
Poltergeist immunity.
Yeah, you're the control, and I'm the test.
You'd all be like, "Oh my God, I'm seeing something," and I'd be like, "There's nothing here."
There's nothing here. You'd be waving your hand through the ghost and be like, "Don't do that." You'd be like, "There's nothing here."
You'd all be like running, screaming, and I'd be like, "I don't see anything, guys."
I mean, I'd probably make friends with the ghost. Let's be honest.
Yeah, especially yeah.
Because I made friends with the guy in the corn maze.
Yeah, went to a haunted corn maze and she's there making friends with the monsters and zombies
Yep.
essentially.
No, that's my strategy. That's my strategy too. Like, make
both
friends
have
with
that in
them. Like
common.
zombie
Yeah.
apocalypse.
Yeah.
I'm on board with that. Make friends with them,
Yeah.
Legit.
and then feed them the rich.
Yes. I think at this point we probably have to feed them Vladimir Putin as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just because.
Yeah, we show them his calendars
Mm-hmm.
and say, "This is your target."
Mm-hmm. He might be riding a bear. We're not sure.
More meat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're the one to befriend the zombies
Yeah.
in a horror movie.
Yeah. That would probably get us both killed. Let's be honest.
Yes.
I could talk them into it. I could negotiate.
You are a lawyer, so you could negotiate with them.
Yeah.
See, we all
I
have to
can
have our own
convince
set
people.
still.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would be too boring and too predictable.
Yes. I would just ask them how that makes them feel.
As a future therapist,
As a future
yeah, I
therapist.
see that.
Yeah. And they just be like, I'm like, okay. And you would
I would just convince them, like, like,
Be like, what else could you do instead of this? What else are you passionate about? That would be me.
What else are you passionate about besides eating brains?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
like, you can eat me once, eat one brain once, or I could help you think through ways of eating everybody else's brains,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's why you keep the lawyer around,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, I don't have any more ghost stories besides my sleep paralysis. I told both of you. So
Yeah.
haven't had any sleep paralysis since, so that's good.
Oh, yeah. That's horrible.
I mean, my old cat used to just stare into my bathroom randomly, and I'd be like, "Okay, I'm gonna die tonight." So he would just stare, and I'd go in the bathroom, and I'd look, and I'd be like, "Okay."
Yeah, Spinelli does that too, but Spinelli's also like half blind, so
Yeah.
she also stares at shadows, light,
Yeah. That makes sense.
her own paws, like anything.
Yeah, she's special.
I've got some funny stories from the internet, little tweets about things that may or may not be ghost related.
Okay.
To read. This one here is from @SillyLilyLily.
Okay.
That's
And
me.
it's when I was 4, my cousin and I were in the woods playing in a giant storm drain. We
Ew.
said hello into it, and a man said hello back.
Ew.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, it starts like sounding like it.
Yeah, so that's some Pennywise action.
Yeah.
Right there.
Mm-hmm.
Though it seems like no clowns. So
Yeah.
no trigger warnings there for clowns.
Right, that's good.
He asked us a bunch of personal questions like names, age, etc. And we gave him all our info like little idiots. He asked us to get into the drain.
No, that's
that is.
When we hesitated, he offered us candy.
No, that is Pennywise.
I was halfway in the drain when my mom called us in for lunch. We told my mom and she laughed it off. When we went back, the drain man was gone. Hashtag I miss drain man.
Oh, no. It was the hashtag that did me in.
Yeah.
One that got away.
Stop. Misconnection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a shame. Maybe they'll meet up.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll go to another drain one day.
Spotted on Storm Drain.
Maybe Tinder. Maybe Tinder's the new spotted at, you know?
Oh, man.
Maybe they'll both swipe right one of these days.
Well, that was Yik Yak that used to be the new spotted at.
It was like storm drains within this many radius.
Yes.
There's this many drain mans looking to meet you.
You get those pop up on your computer that's like, Drain Man sent you 5 images.
I just see it now. It's like, it's raining out.
Well, you know what? If a drain man sent you a dick pic, you'd never be able to see it because it'd be too dark.
True.
Oh my god.
Okay, I got another one.
All right.
This one's from @Ledesma_Abby.
Okay.
And it says, there's a ghost/demon that hangs out in a corner of my room.
Mm-hmm.
It moves my stuff and makes noise, but it stops when I tell it to.
Oh.
So it's polite.
It's a polite demon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My family thought that I was making it up until we asked the old owners, and they told us the first owner hung herself exactly where my stuff moves.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's dark.
Anyway, the thing doesn't bother me, TBH, but whenever my friends come home, they refuse to be left alone in my room because they feel watched or sick.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Long story short, this entity behaves like a moody house cat, and I'm sure I'll miss it when I move.
Nice.
So I just picture it like a moody house cat. It's like the demon is just like, well, I'll just behave for my owner.
Yeah.
But as soon as the owner's out of the room, just lets all hell break loose.
Yeah.
In front of the friends. It's like, I don't like you. I only like my person.
Picturing like the stuff that it rearranges, like, are we talking like how polite are they? Like, could I put my laundry bin and they would fold it? Because that would be cool. Like, just thinking, like they move it, they fold it, and they move it away.
Yeah, but it's like you tell him to stop and he's like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
It's like knocking shit around. It's like, now you stop that, demon. And he's like, okay.
At least it's polite.
That's enough for tonight. I wonder if it purrs.
Maybe. If you hear little click clacks, that's Victoria's dog Olive.
Yes.
Walking around.
Yes.
Do you have any other ones? Or
Yeah, I'm just trying to find any of the good ones. Okay, a spooky haiku.
Mm-hmm.
My dad saw a ghost. It was probably shadows. Make better drinks, Steve. That's it.
Okay.
It was by I will build a labyrinth too. ...
Okay. I don't know how the drinks relates to the ghost, but sure.
I don't know, Rachel. Did you have a degree in English literature? No.
I have a degree in French literature, thank you.
Yeah, but it wasn't written in French, was it?
No, it was not.
That's all.
That's interesting. Interesting.
This one's by @ablaze-.
Mm-hmm.
It's my microwave keeps beeping. I don't know what's up with that, but I think it's my dead hamsters trying to get food, to be honest. What? I don't know. I don't know why they think it's their dead hamsters.
Why would hamsters go to the microwave?
I don't know.
I really don't know.
weird.
That's really weird.
Don't like that.
No.
It's not creepy, it's just weird.
Yeah.
Don't
I
like
have no idea. I didn't ask questions. I just took screenshots. And at Mothman Fanboy
Mothman?
said, yes, Mothman
Oh my
Fanboy.
God.
Mm-hmm. Mothman is potentially real and has fanboys, apparently. Says, I remember I was at my friend's house when I was younger. I saw a really tall white guy in the woods by her house. He could have been a ghost, but he also could have been just a dude. I don't know.
Just a dude.
Just a dude.
Yeah.
Just a dude.
So you should be careful around really tall white guys because they could be either a ghost or just a dude.
Or Slender Man.
Dude is really tall white dude.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Dude.
Dude. Oh, no.
Right?
Not real.
I mean, he was walking by my place at one point, so I did have to be careful.
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At Obviously Waffle said, I started hearing strange knocking all around my apartment, and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. I thought of people trying to break in, or even a poltergeist. But it turned out to be ... my neighbor squishing fruit flies on his wall.
Oh.
Oh.
At least it was innocent enough.
Yeah.
But that's aggressive.
That's very
Yeah.
aggressive.
That's definitely, they need one of those fruit fly traps. It sounds
Yes.
That's pretty much the only good ones I had.
Yep. I said none of mine are good, so listeners, I hope you have fun sleeping tonight.
like. Yeah. Sweet dreams.
And maybe if you have your own ghost, paranormal, weird nonsense, you can send us an email at inconsistentpodcast1@gmail.com or send us a message on Instagram. We're at inconsistentpodcast1 as well. Thanks, Victoria, for joining us for this episode. It was lots of fun.
Thanks for having me. I felt honored to be your first guest, especially with our, love for the spooky stuff.
Yes, and like I said, Victoria does tarot readings, so if you want to get one of those done, she's at Marina Moonstone on Instagram. Got to do the plug.
Thanks.
Melanie, I think I know I already said where they can find us, but Melanie, where can they find us?
You always put me on the spot, and last time I did know where to find us. It only took me 4 tries. But technically we recorded these out of order, so that would be after this one. So the listeners won't even know that I already did it.
Nope, they won't.
So sad.
I'm getting attacked by puppy kisses. But yeah, like I said, we're at Inconsistent Podcast 1 on Instagram. Our email is inconsistentpodcast1@gmail.com. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Music, Amazon, and Podbean as well. Leave us a review. Tell us that ghosts aren't real. We will fight you on that. And remember, don't look up in the dark corner of your room when you're alone.